Hi guys, this is Luton, and today I have a somewhat major announcement from me. It's got pros and cons, so please watch the whole of this statement. It's important to me that, as always, I make this video so that you guys know just where I stand. So, this week, over the whole of the week, I've been trying to decide about the future of Armour ZEUS content. Now today, I think I've found the answer, and I'm feeling pretty positive actually about my plan now going into 2018, but it does mean some changes. Producing missions bi-weekly and streaming them was initially great, but over time I found that it's become repetitive and stale. And it's really, in the simplest explanation, down to constraints of the game itself combined with trying to balance the needs of a large group of players. It's not about having enough ideas, it's just about time to make it work, trying to balance things up, trying to get it to work properly and not have things kind of be over in 5 minutes. Now couple that with the fact that I nearly always live stream and give commentary over these, then edit them down to be short or cinematic. That's very difficult, if not impossible. What I've seen is that the length of preparation that goes into setting up missions, plus streaming, plus editing, and then uploading, ends up just not being viable as content, and I'll explain what I mean by that. It also means that that time that I'm used in terms of prepping missions, getting it all ready, playing it, streaming it, etc. can't be used then for other things like different videos, reviews, and something I know many people want to see more from me, which is lore videos. So what is the plan? Well, the plan is, instead of just creating missions bi-weekly for that same size group, I'd create more cinematic, specific operations that will likely be non-streamed and just for YouTube. So kind of closed missions where I design a lot of detail in there and for a smaller team to carry it out. This is going to enable me to make operations of different duration, different style, different mod setups. These could be as short as 20 minutes, or they could be a full-length operation of over an hour. The goal is to make the editing much more slick, with some music in there, as I do sometimes already, proper cinematic style, like watching a small movie, like some of those zombie operation stuff that we've done in the past, but just all around tactical. Now this would be opposed to me doing what I do now, which is just cutting up a live stream and trying to make it work, which in and of itself can be a pain, because when you end up with like 4 hours raw footage and you've got to try and cut that down to an hour and a half, it not only takes a long time, but you basically can spend half a day or more trying to do that. And then if that video only gains you back like 5,000 views, it's just not worth it. Whereas if I go the other route, where I can produce more specific content, like I say, of different duration length, higher quality, that's going to be more appealing, it's going to be easier to digest, it's going to be more interesting, more varied, and hopefully better content for you guys. So this sounds like it means the end of you streaming Armour, right? No. My second part of this shakeup is to more consistently host public Armour ZEUS operations, the ones that I've been doing recently, the things that anybody can get in on, and I know a lot of people want to do that as well. Now these are going to take place, as they often have, probably on a Friday or a Saturday, and they could take anything from between 6 to 8 hours in length. They're basically like a big open session where people can kind of just come in and play. Now because of that long session, I'd probably schedule these maybe twice a month, so as not to lose my goal of actually having more time to do other things like edit up ops, prep bits and pieces, do other things basically. Now this timescale in terms of when to do them is flexible, and if it seems like everything's working and I can fit some more in, then I'm going to have a look at that, but currently that's where I want to be at. It also means potentially I might opt to play in on the ground more, which I know, again, some people have asked me to do. The only challenge with that is that if you're live streaming it, it's very hard to interact, because when you're in a highly focused mission requiring a lot of communication, it's kind of difficult to break out and thank people for subbing, you know. Lastly, I'm just going to say on my recent operations, balancing and running the operation versus hanging out and having fun with the stream itself, that's always a really big challenge, because you're trying to keep an eye on everything that's happening whilst you're trying to do with the chat, and it happens almost exclusively when you're doing those Armour operations. I don't tend to have that with other things. One of the most important things about a stream is interacting and having fun with the chat. It's a kind of a whole thing. So on a public day operation, it's actually a lot more relaxed, a lot more fun, and it's just about having a laugh, getting people involved, but still, of course, getting some good games. So I feel like all around, there's a lot of positives in changing things around to this degree. So what else is there to say? Well, first of all, this is my vague plan. Nothing is absolutely set in stone. If I want to do something here or there, or change it around, or do an operation when I didn't intend to previously, you know, those things can come in. So it's kind of like a loose guideline that I think is going to make things work better. One important reasoning here as well is to try and give me more time, as I say, to produce content like Warhammer 40k lore, because I still get people asking almost every day to do more of that. So that's something that I can see very, very clearly people want, and therefore I'm going to make it work so that that can happen. I also want to be able to cover, I want to have the flexibility of time to be able to cover other FPS like upcoming Hell Let Loose, even Battlefield and other stuff like Verdun, as well as maybe getting in on some Siege and other things. So I want to be able to have that flexibility there. It means I can then cover more news, more opinion-based content. It also means that I can be more free with my live streams and not so set in stone about it all the time. Because for me, live streaming is more about the producer and the community of that stream than it is necessarily just what game you are playing. I want to ensure that that focus stays there. When I look at my channel and I study my views, my general audience interaction, it's been clear to me that Arma has declined over time. And for my part, I think that is understandable. 4 years is a long time to be producing content on one specific game, even if it does have a sandbox setup which enables you to do a lot of different things. And I've been feeling myself that it is also getting just stale and repetitive. My hope is that with this shake-up, I can make higher quality videos, simultaneously free up time to make more content that appeals to you guys as viewers, and in doing these kind of closed, smaller scale operations for YouTube, there is also another opportunity there in terms of collabing, getting other YouTube producers in and doing stuff like that. So there's a whole other range of options here which should make that stuff work better. In the long term as well, I think anybody can see that Arma ZEUS, and in fact Arma 3, it's a pretty niche area of content. And pigeonholing myself into a game area which up to a certain point isn't going to grow, it's just not healthy for me or the channel. And you can rationalize it however you like to, but that is a fact. You know, it's a smaller area which has been out for some amount of time. It's just not going to gather any kind of ever expanding community. And whilst I don't want to just drop Arma at all, because I like the content, I like making it, and I do have fun with some of this stuff, like I've said, I really like the idea of where we're going with this. At the same time, you do need to have the flexibility, the time to be able to pivot and cover other content like lore, like Hell Let Loose, other stuff that's coming up, and I want to make sure that I am able to do that. So I hope that you guys can see my reasoning here, and that ultimately it's going to be a positive thing. It's going to help me to continue to provide potentially even better content here and on streams, while bringing in new content that people have been asking me to make forever and a day. I hope you guys will enjoy the channel and the content I'm going to be putting forward together in 2018, because I'm here to stay, come what may. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me over the years, and I hope you're going to continue to enjoy what I do. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Luton.